Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angelo Ferro, and I'm the head of business development for Unity Analytics. And to my right is Eric Wayne. He's a project manager for Unity Analytics. And today we're here to show you how you can monetize your game with Unity IAP. So, game developers face a ton of challenges. To have a successful game, you'll need to acquire players, engage them, and keep them playing your game. And if you want to make a career out of building games, you'll also need to earn revenue. One of Unity's core missions is to enable developer success. And that's what we want to do with Unity IAP. So, what is Unity IAP? Well, if you've ever set up IAP in a game before, you'll know that it requires a lot of coding and work. Each App Store's payment API typically uses a different language, like Java or Objective-C. So if you were building IAP for iOS, you couldn't just use the same code for Google Play. So if you wanted to set up IAP for multiple stores, you need to become an expert in each store's APIs, which consumes a huge amount of development time. Luckily, with Unity IAP, just like the Unity editor, you can set up your products once, and then you can easily deploy to multiple stores. So you can spend more time working on your game and less time learning about payments APIs. So Unity IAP was launched in Unity 5.3. And when we first launched, the first 4 stores we supported were iOS, Apple Store, Google Play, and Windows Store. And I'm proud to announce that we have expanded our platform reach, including Amazon and soon Samsung and Tizen stores, with many more stores coming soon. So this slide shows you really quickly how to integrate IAP. Here's a basic overview, but let me show you just how easy it is. And so I'll switch over to give a demo of how to integrate Unity IAP for your game. Okay, so this is my game, and this game is called Movie Dude. So before I set up my IAP, I'm going to show you how this game plays. So you need to choose a character, either the dude or the grandma. So I'm going to pick the dude, and the purpose of this game is to get as many coins as you can while avoiding bombs. So if a bomb hits you, you die. That's unfortunate, but when you die, you get a couple options. And so here on this bottom left corner, you can see there's an option for IAP. So in our game, we have 2 types of IAP. You can either purchase a coin, which is this IAP signal here, which is a consumable purchase, or you can buy a new hero. And so our new hero is a grandma, and then she's a non-consumable purchase. And so you can think of a consumable purchase as any purchase that you can purchase multiple times, whereas a non-consumable purchase is a one-time purchase. So things like new character skins, new characters, things that you can only buy once and you don't need to buy again. And so we've set up our IAP in this game in the sense that we have the artwork, we know which IAP we want to sell, but we don't have, we haven't hooked it up to Unity IAP yet. And so let's fix that. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to set up IAP. Okay. So first things first, in order to enable IAP, you want to head to the services window. And so this is located by the inspector, and if you ever get lost, you can click on the cloud, and that'll take you to the services window. And so we already have IAP enabled in this game, but it's really quick and simple. You just hit in-app purchasing, and then here you'll be directed to a prompt where you can import the different store packages. And so this is really important. Basically, the stores exist as a separate package that is downloadable outside of the Unity engine. And this is important for many reasons. The first is that because it exists as a plugin, this means that if Google Play makes an update to how they handle IAPs, it's on us as Unity to keep track of how they handle their IAPs and their different APIs. And so if Google Play makes an update, we'll make sure to track it, and then we'll have that latest update in the plugin, which you can import through the Unity editor. This also means that when we add additional support for new platforms like Samsung and Amazon, that you don't need to upgrade to Unity, you can just import the package, and that package will always have the latest stores. Then finally, because we exist as a package, this means that if you love 5.3 and just want to stay on 5.3 forever, there's no need to upgrade to the latest version of Unity in order to use the store packages, because we can update the packages more frequently, and we can update the packages outside of the Unity dot releases. So we've enabled IAP. I'm not going to import the packages because I've already done this for this game. But there is a little bit of coding that we have to do. And so I'm going to open up this script, which is called the purchaser script. So let me just squeeze this out here. Okay, so this is our purchaser script. I'm just going to go through this at a fairly high level. We have examples online at IAPtheater.com and tutorials. So you can actually download a tutorial project with an example script that can walk you through how to turn on IAP. But basically, there are 5 basic steps that we do in this purchaser script. The first is that we add our product identifiers. The second is we configure a builder. The third step is instantiate IAP. In step 4, we make the product identifiers available for purchase. And in step 5, we add some logic to tell us whether or not the purchase was a success or a failure. So in step 1, here's where we add our product identifiers. And so the products that we want to add, we do that here in lines 35 and 36. And so here we have a K product ID consumable, and the name is consumable. So this is going to match the coins. And then we have a similar product ID non-consumable, and this non-consumable is going to be our grandma character. Unity IAP also supports subscription. There's no subscription items in this specific example, but you can think of a subscription item as something that you would get recurring. It's a recurring purchase. So things like level packs, or let's say there's monthly updates. You can buy that IAP so that every month you'll get that update. So here we're setting our product IDs, and then down here we have some code that basically has the matching product ID for the relevant app stores. And so here we have the Apple product ID for consumable, which is Apple consumable, same for non-consumable, same for Apple non-consumable. And then we also have the matching Google Play consumable and Google Play non-consumable product IDs. And so this is important because basically what Unity IAP does is that when you go to build your game for Android, let's say, it'll strip out the Apple code and it'll automatically map the product ID that you set here to the equivalent App Store product ID. And so you still have to log into the developer console, either iTunes Connect or Google Play developer console to set up the IAP. But we do have guides online that are fairly detailed and walk you through exactly how to set that up. So that's step 1. Let's see. So in step 2, now that we know which products we have, we're going to create a builder, and that's telling Unity IAP what products we want to add to our game. And so here we have a builder add product. So we're adding the non-consumable product here, and we also do the same for the consumable product. I'm going to be saying consumable and non-consumable product a lot in this presentation. But remember, consumable is the coins, and non-consumable is the grandma, which you'll see soon. So step 3 is super simple. All we're doing here is we're telling Unity IAP to start. So in step 4, we're going to make, this is where we make the products available to purchase, and we do that by calling the byProduct ID function. So here is the byProduct ID function, and then we pass on the product ID, so in this case, the consumable product ID as a parameter. It's the same for the buy non-consumable option. And then finally, just going down a bit, when we get down to step 5, we want to add some code that basically tells us in the console log whether or not the IAP was a success or if it didn't pass. And so if the consumable purchase is a success, we'll see this message in the console: success, process purchase, pass. If the non-consumable purchase was not a success, or it was a success, we'll see the same code: process purchase, pass in the console. And then for any reason, if the purchase fails, we also want to be alerted to that, and you can find that out here in purchase failure. So that's the script. So to recap, what we've done is we've enabled IAP, we've imported the stores, we've created the purchaser script, and so the next thing I'm going to do is add the byProduct ID function to the buy buttons that weren't working earlier. And so here I have a game object IAP panel purchaser, and this game object has a purchaser script attached. And so let me go to the grandma buy button. So here I'm going to add an action. So I'm going to drag over the IAP panel purchaser here. And then on click, the function I'm going to select, because this is the grandma character, is purchaser by non-consumable. And then I'm going to do the same for the 100 coins buy button. So I'm dragging over the IAP panel purchaser, getting rid of this, and then the function is on click, purchaser, and then buy consumable. All right, so let me save my project here. We're going to move this out. Let's see if I can make this bigger. So let's play this game again. I'm gonna hit play in the editor. So I'm gonna pick the dude, try not to die, and I died. But now let's go to IAP. So here we have our two options. It's the 100 coins. And so let's test if it worked out. So we know that the consumable purchase worked. We know two ways. One is that we have 100 more coins. The second here is on the console log, you can see the purchase consumable. It has a process purchase pass. And so let's do the same for the grandma. So here we get the same code. It says process purchase pass for the non-consumable item. And so let's restart the game. And now when I restart the game, you see that I have the option to select the grandma character. And so here's grandma. She's a little bit faster than the dude, but unfortunately not fast enough. And so she still dies, or she dies as well. And when I go back to IAP, you'll notice here, it's a little small to see, but basically the buy button for the grandma character is no longer enabled, and that's because it's a non-consumable purchase, so it's a one-time purchase. However, the 100 coins, that is a consumable purchase, and so that's something that you could buy multiple times. So think of consumable purchase as things like potions, ether, any sort of power-up that you can buy multiple times. And so that's it. So I'm going to exit out of the editor, and that's how easy it is to set up IAP in your game. And so let me jump back to my presentation. So you can implement IAP in your game today. Again, it was launched in Unity 5.3 and it's completely free. But we're not done with IAP. So in 5.3, our main goal was to get it natively integrated into the engine. You saw that there's no SDKs required and it's very little coding that's needed in order to get IAP working for your game. So one of the things we want to do next is basically build a rich feature set around IAP to help you monetize your game better and manage your in-game economy. And so when it comes to game economy, here's a couple of challenges that are really popular. The first is cloud catalog management. Basically, each store has its own dashboard. And so if you wanted to make an update to the Google Play console, you'd have to go into the developer console and do that. Then if you wanted to make the same update for iOS, it's a similar pain. You have to go to iTunes Connect to do that. And so what we want to do longer term is basically build out a rich feature set where you can update all of your IAP throughout all the different platforms that Unity IAP supports through the analytics dashboard. And so we actually have a feature that's called Cloud Catalog. And so this is available in beta. If you guys are interested in it, please come reach out to us or come stop by the booth. We'd be happy to give you early access. This is available in Unity 5.4. And so I'm going to show you what this feature looks like, because it's pretty cool. So here is Unity 5.4, and this game is called Survival Shooter. And so we have IAP enabled already, and so let me just play this game. So here's the game. Basically, zombie teddy bears come attack you, but you can shoot them with your gun. And so right now I have a yellow gun. If I hit that, let's see. So it's a little squished, but basically we have two item choices. We have the red laser here, which gives you a red laser, and then we have a white laser here, which gives you the white laser. Let's say you wanted to add additional IAP, make IAP available to your game. Traditionally, without the IAP catalog, what you would have to do is submit a new build to the app stores, wait for that build to get approved, and then have your players update that game in order to take advantage of any new IAP, or new items that are available in your game. With the cloud catalog, you can easily manage that all through the cloud. And so here are the weapons we have. We have the fast low, which is the red laser, slow high, which is the white laser, and then in this example, we have a special Valentine's Day laser. And so this is a product name, and I'm going to go to the analytics dashboard. And so this is the, sorry, it's all a little squished. Here's the analytics dashboard, and this is a project, Survival Shooter IAP demo. And this feature on the left-hand side is the IAP Cloud Catalog. And so right now, we have two items that are available for purchase, the fast low, slow high gun. I'm going to edit my catalog, and I'm going to add another gun and make that available for purchase. So I do that by going to the IAP catalog. I'm going to add this product. So here I'm adding the product ID. It's going to be just weapon Valentine's. And then here are the store IDs. And so similar to how I showed you earlier in the Movie Dude demo, you would just copy over the relevant iOS, Mac, Google Play, Windows, and then in the future Samsung, Windows, any store that we support specific product ID. So I'm going to hit save. And then when I go back to the IAP catalog, oh, that's not good. Oh, so here we have the Valentine's Day weapon. I'm going to hit publish the catalog. And then here it says clicking OK will make the current catalog visible to your application. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, we are sure. So if I get to Unity, let me see if I can make my screen bigger so you can see the catalog. All right, let's see if this works. So again, the store is the screen cube. And do you know how to fix the resolution? All right, so in this button that's at the very edge is another weapon. It's called the Valentine's Day laser. Can I kill this? Here we go. Okay. So here, previously we only had two weapons available, the red laser and the white laser. And then we went on the analytics dashboard, we added the Valentine's Day laser, and now we have the love laser. And so that's instant, and it fires a pink beam. And so you can imagine that, let's say you're doing a Halloween special, or a Christmas special, or any type of sort of seasonal special. Oh, I'm dying. Well, oh, okay, and I died. But at least I got some cool IP. So going back to the cloud catalog, basically what we see that evolving to, right now, it lets you surface different IAP across multiple platforms, and you can control that over the cloud without having to push an update to your build and submit a new build to the App Store. Where we see this going longer term is the ability to serve different IAP in different segments, or even change the prices of IAP through the dashboard. And so you can think of it as your master kind of organizer of IAP living on the Unity Analytics dashboard and not having to log into the different consoles in order to manage your different types of inventory. And again, the IAP catalog is something that is available in 5.4 in a beta. So if you guys are interested in it, please let us know. We'd be happy to get you guys testing it and giving us your feedback. And so the IAP catalog, again, it's one of the great features that is part of Unity Analytics. And so another great thing about Unity IAP is that you also get Unity Analytics. And to tell you more about what Unity Analytics is and what it can do for you, I'd like to bring on stage Eric Wang, who's going to tell you about IAP, or not IAP, Unity Analytics.
Thank you, Angelo, for that introduction and that great demo of our IAP feature. So my name is Eric Wang. I'm the project manager on the analytics team. So before I go into a quick demo of our analytics tool, I just want to talk a little bit about why every game developer should be thinking about analytics and at least starting to use it, even if it's your first game. So let me go on. So, I mean, the reason why is that game making in general is a very tough market. These are some of the industry averages. Only 1% of users monetize. Only 25% of users return after the first day. So that means 75% of your users are gone. And a potential spender needs to play at least 2 hours a day. Of course, that's different per genre, but that's a pretty standard 2 hours a day. And the last challenge is user acquisition costs. I put a little trash can there, because that's what it feels like when you're trying to market a game. So these are some of the challenges out there, and analytics can help you optimize some of your games so that you have a better chance in the market. So here are some pretty standard numbers according to the industry, a little better than average. So you've now solved the hardest challenge, which is making a great game and making a really creative and fun game to play. So if you get these numbers, then you might be able to survive. But it could also be very difficult. These are very lackluster numbers. But if you optimize your game, you can start pulling some of these numbers off. So let me show you what that would look like. So, for example, if you fix some of your early friction, you can improve your one-day retention by 40%. So instead of 70% of users leaving, 60% of users are leaving. Now this small improvement actually has a pretty dramatic effect. It will increase your revenue on industry average by about 50%. Let's also say that you've managed to increase your percentage of paying users from 1% to 1.5%. It's a pretty dramatic increase, but it's something that's definitely possible by selling the right items to the right players. And that's another 50% increase in your revenue. Now the next one is playtime per day. Now this one might be the hardest to improve, but it's also one of the most impactful to your games. And if you can raise your average playtime per day from 1 hour to 2 hours, this is actually a very large increase in your revenue. But let's just say it's about a 150% increase. And then after you've done this, say you work on your average spend, and if you look at how your users are playing your game and what items they're doing, this is actually probably the easiest thing to increase after you've launched your game. So let's say that we've doubled the average spend, so an extra 100% to here. So what that ends up being, with all these small improvements to your game, is a 11x increase in the revenue, because the numbers are compounded. So these numbers are a little bit dramatic of an increase, but sometimes this actually happens in the reality when you're making your game. So every time you optimize your numbers, your game will get a little better, and the numbers will compound, and it'll give your game a much better chance to succeed. And once your numbers start going up, you can spend more on marketing, and then your game can start to scale and snowball into a successful game. So one of the reasons to use analytics is to do this optimization after you've launched your game. The second reason to use analytics, which is just as important, is to catch issues and catch them fast. So some of the questions you might have are, are users dropping off suddenly? Are people getting stuck? Are people having bugs? Et cetera, et cetera. So it's really important to catch these issues because they will impact your community and people will complain about them. Your best players will run into these issues and they'll drop off because they're hitting them the most often. So catching these issues fast is definitely very important. So let me show you how Unity Analytics can help you optimize your games and also detect anomalies in your games. So I'll just switch out here. So here's our demo app, and it's a little squished because of the resolution here, but this is our metric monitor. So the metric monitor, do you know how to fix this? Okay, thank you. So here's our metric monitor. Now, when you integrate Unity, if you remember, it takes no more than a few clicks with no code to integrate Unity. And once you've done that, you'll have access to all the information on this metric monitor. The metric monitor is a high-level view of your game, and it gives you kind of a report card view of how your game is doing. So you can check out the number of active players in your game, things like DAU and MAU. You can check out how many sessions people are playing each day and how much time people are playing. You can check out things like retention, which tell you how many people are returning each day to your game. So all these high-level metrics are immediately available once you instrumented analytics. Now the Data Explorer is a way for you to drill a little bit deeper into your game, or into your data. So for example, here I have my daily active users, but I could break this down by, for example, only users in Japan, or United States, or South Korea. I also have, right out of the box, about 20 different metrics that I can look at here. For example, how much are people spending, the total daily playtime, and etc. So, all that I've explained right now is available right out of the box. But if you want to add some more custom analysis to your game, you can do that by instrumenting custom events. So custom events are very flexible. You can track a lot of things about your game. For example, what items are people buying? Or what level are people dying in? So this is completely customizable to what your game needs, and all it takes is one line of code. So for example, here we have a level complete event. This is a custom event that I've defined. And you could also use the same segments to see, what people are doing in different countries. But you can also drill down into this custom event and track things like the score. What is the score people are getting on the level? And also track things like the mode. For example, what mode of the game are people playing the most? So the Data Explorer gives you a lot of power and flexibility to drill down into your data. So the third feature here we have is the funnel analyzer. And the funnel analyzer is really helpful for improving the retention of your game and having people play more. So here in this example of one of the funnels we've created. So in this funnel, I'm tracking how many people are getting to each of the levels in my game. So here I have 100% at level 1, 86% at level 2, and 28% at level 3. So immediately I can see, just by looking at this, that level 3, a lot of people are dropping off. And it might be because that's too difficult to use. So funnels are definitely a very powerful tool for increasing your engagement and also balancing your game. So the last item on our dashboard is the segment builder. And this is a way for you to build whatever kind of custom segments that you want. So for example, here I have all the segments that we give you out of the box. But you can create your own custom segments, like users in Japan who spent money and have completed level 3. So it's very flexible and very powerful for use. So let me just get back to the presentation. So as you see in the Unity Analytics tool, it is pretty easy to use and it's pretty flexible and powerful. And this is all available for free if you sign up. Okay, thank you. I guess it's second.
So in addition to it being free, if you sign up at Unite today, you also get the pro level of analytics. And so you'll have that pro level for the life of the app, if you integrate this week. Also, we announced that the dashboard will be localized, and so we showed a screenshot earlier today. The localization of the dashboard in Korean is well underway, and we hope to have that ready by May or June. So before the end of Q2, we'll have a localized dashboard. So I think at this time we have a couple of minutes to answer any questions, if anyone has any.
We have one gentleman over here.
Yeah.
A microphone's coming over.
Eric is Korean, so he will answer in Korean.
나라마다 다양한 마켓들이 있고 다양한 IAP 모듈들이 있는데 일단 한국으로 치자면 이제 티스토어라든가 온라인마켓이라든가 하는 다양한 IAP 모듈들이 있는데요. 그것들을 유니티에서 모두 지원해 줄 거라고 생각하진 않는데 만약에 유저가 직접 만들어서 그러니까 유저가 유니티 IAP 모듈을 확장해서 만들 수 있는지 그거를 지원할 예정이 있는지가 궁금합니다.
Okay, so the question was, there's a lot of different stores in Korea, like SKT and the KT only stores, and it doesn't seem like Unity will be able to support all the various stores that are out there. So are we planning to later make it possible for developers to add additional stores to IAP?
Yes, so the answer to that question is that our goal is to support as many stores as we can. And so in that sense, we prioritize support for kind of the most popular stores. But if there is smaller stores that you want support for, what you can do is you can take a look at the documentation for Unity IAP. It is designed to be extensible, and so the API, all the documentation is online. And so if there is a store that you want us to support that we haven't yet, just take a look at the API, and if you can get it working for that store, that's great. The headset.
Any other questions?
추가적인 건데요. 그럼 결론적으로 제공을 하지 않는 유저가 확장을 할 수 있는 방법을 지원하지 않는다는 의미인가요?
So he's asking basically the same question. So are we not allowing developers to add new stores on their own?
Oh, you can add stores on your own.
네, 질문이 있는데요. 애널리스트에서 국가를 지금 알 수가 있는데 그 국가를 알아내는 방법이 어떻게 알아내나요? 만약에 핸드폰의 경우에는 뭐 설정된 언어라든지 그런 식으로 알아내나요? 아니면 다른 방식으로 알아낼 수 있나요?
So he's asking, how do we know which country they're coming from?
Yeah, so the country segments, we get that based on the IP address of the device. So if the player makes a purchase and they're in South Korea at the time, then the IP address will match to a South Korean IP address, and so that's where we do the mapping.
그리고 하나 더 있는데요. 결제 쪽에서 지금 결제를 할 경우에 영수증 같은 정보가 저장이 됐다가 그거를 보내는 걸 알고 있는데 그 영수증 같은 경우에는 안드로이드 쪽에서는 같은 영수증을 보낼 경우에 구분하는 방법이 없기 때문에 서버 쪽에서 자체 서버에서 좀 구분을 해서 하는 방식을 쓰고 있는 걸 알고 있거든요. 그런 방식도 혹시 유니티에서 제공을 하고 있는지 궁금합니다.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
그러니까 영수증 처리에 대해서 딱히 잘못된 영수증인지 처리 같은 거를 유니티 내부에서 하고 있는지 궁금합니다.
He's asking about receipt verification and if we can handle that.
Yes, so currently I believe Unity IAP, if it's not out yet, we do support, so the question is about receipt verification. And so, like we recently released support for client-side receipt verification. A lot of customers choose to do server-side receipt verification. And so Unity IAP will provide you with the receipt string you need from the appropriate app store so that you can do server-side receipt verification as well. But we don't, by default, we don't do server-side receipt verification for you. We give you the receipt so you can do it yourself, but we do client-side receipt verification. And you can find all the documentation for that and all the instructions on our website.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
저희 아직 업데이트하는 그 IAP 클라우드 카탈로그 쪽에 대해서 질문인데요. 그 설명을 들어보면 그냥 유니티에서 바로 뭐 IAP 프로덕트 아이디 그냥 추가하게 되면 어느 애플이든지 안드로이드든지 이렇게 뭐 디벨로퍼 포털에 들어가서 IAP 프로덕트 아이디를 추가를 하지 않고 바로 동기화가 되는 것처럼 제가 방향을 했거든요. 그게 뭐 애플 디벨로퍼 계정 들어갈 때 뭐 비밀번호 이런 거 이렇게 키체인에 저장한 다음에 뭐 그게 들어가지 않는지 결국에는 그냥 또 다른 개발자 사이트 다 애플이 만들고 다 들어가서 추가를 해야지 결국 다 동기화가 되는 건지.
If I understand the question correctly, it's for Unity IAP Cloud Catalog. Does this mean you still have to go to the Google and Apple stores to insert your product IDs and set it all up? Or is that something that Unity handles on cloud?
Unity would handle that through the cloud.
하지만 그 애플이나 안드로이드 뭐 개발자 계정 같은 거 좀 필요할 거 아닙니까?
But you need account information.
The account information.
For
Yeah, I have to check with the team, but I think as long as the products are already set, so in the example that I showed, we already had the product set in the build itself, and so those are already configured on the developer console. What Cloud Catalog does now is that it controls when you see the IAP in the game. And so I think going forward, we want to expand on that functionality so that instead of having to go through the go through the developer console on Google Play or on iTunes Connect to set that up, you do it through the web dashboard. So in the first version of Cloud Catalog, we just make it so that items that already exist in the game, you can control when they come up. But in future versions, we want to be able to do things like set it up for you so that you don't have to go to the different platforms, websites. So the role of the Cloud Catalog as it evolves is that instead of having to go through the different stores and their interfaces, you can do everything through our interface.
지금 말씀해주신 마지막 고울은 현재 아직 베타라서 지원이 안 된다는 건가요? 아니면 현재 베타 상태? 우선 유니티 클라우드 카탈로그 자체가 현재 베타인 상황이거든요. 그런데 마지막에 얘기해줬던 고울은 현재 베타 상황에 그만큼까지 개발이 됐다는 건지 아니면 현재 상황에서도 더 개발을 해야지 이렇게 그 애플이나 안드로이드 계정으로 로그인할 필요가 없는 기능은 좀 보이고 있는데요.
So I think the simple answer is that this is phase one of our Unity IAP roadmap. And then what you're discussing is something that we have on our roadmap and we're planning to build out.
그러면 우선 클라우드 카탈로그 자체가 이렇게 우선은 오픈하게 되면 아닙니다. 됐습니다. Thank you.
그 구글 플레이에서 결제를 취소를 해도 아이템이 막 지급되는 그런 걸 이용을 해서 막 어뷰징을 하는 유저들이 있는데 그런 유저들을 뭐 다 추적을 하거나 뭐 그런 방법이 있을까요? 제공되는 SDK에서.
So in Google Play, there's a lot of users that cancel their transactions and kind of abuse the system. So he's asking, is there any way to help prevent that?
So going forward, one of the features that we want to build out a more kind of richer IAP set. So one of the things we want to do is have things like fraud detection. And so if there are players in that example who are repeatedly spamming transactions, you'd be alerted and know who those players are, and you could blacklist them or take action against them. And so we don't have that built out yet. We're still kind of in the process of, we have the Cloud Catalog feature out in Unity 5.4, and right now we just want to get feedback on that feature. And so, like John, who's the general manager of analytics, mentioned in the keynote today, we really value the feedback from developers. And so, if that's a feature that's really important to you, being able to kind of track people who are scamming the system, let us know, because that's what we use to prioritize what we develop next.
그리고 그 결제를 구현하는 제일 힘든 부분이 테스팅인데 그 테스팅을 위한 기능들이 다 마련이 돼 있나요?
Because ways to test it.
그리고 그 테스트가 좀 실현할 만한지도 궁금해요.
So you can test it basically on the analytics dashboard. Do you still have it? So by test, one of the things you can do, so this is the analytics dashboard. If you go on the integration page, so here on the right-hand tab, there's advanced integration. I want to go to monetization. So let's go to basic integration. So here are all the events that are coming from the editor, or any events that are coming from a device that is sideloaded to the editor. And so one of the things you can do to test if a custom event or if a transaction is fired correctly, just test it in the editor, and then we'll be able to see it here on the dashboard. And this happens pretty instantaneously. So you can test a transaction from a device that's sideloaded, and then you'll be able to see the data in this screen.
게임 사용 같은 이용 같은 게 이렇게 올라가고 저희들이 확인을 할 수 있는데 유저들이 어디에서 많이 죽는지 이렇게 하는데 인터넷이 안 되는 인터넷이 없는 환경으로 만든 게임인 경우에는 저희가 어떻게 받아볼 수 있는지 아니면 항시 인터넷이 연결되어야 되는 게임만 이 기능을 이용할 수 있는지 그 점이 좀 궁금합니다.
So if the game does not use internet completely, then it's not possible to use Unity Analytics. But if a game does not have internet connection temporarily, then we cache the events and send the events at a later time.
Yeah, so all the data points are cached locally on the device, and then as soon as, let's say you're playing on your phone, and then the phone is on airplane mode, all the events are timestamped, and so as soon as that player gets out of airplane mode, the data will be sent to our servers, and they'll be timestamped with the date that they occurred on the device, on the client side. And so on your dashboard, you'll see the correct transaction occurring on the correct date, as soon as there's internet available.
I have a question in Google Analytics. So for the segment builder, if I add a segment in the middle of the service, can I still get the data from my past play logs for the users? Or do I get the statistics from the point I added the segment?
So our calculations are done on a batch cycle, which is typically about 4 to 6 hours. So the data will become available after that batch cycle.
Thank you.
No more questions? One more?
이벤트 전송 횟수가 유저당 그리고 시간당 100회로 제한이 되고 있는 걸로 알고 있는데요. 그러면 아까처럼 그러니까 시간당 100회가 초과됐을 때 그 100회가 그 전송이 되고 그 나머지 부분에 대해서는 나중에 다시 전송이 되는 건지 아니면은 전송이 안 되는 건지.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
시간당 100회 전송 제한되는 건 맞습니까?
So, actually, sorry, I can't understand the question. Do we have translation?
제가 그 문서에 보기에는 그 유저당 그리고 시간당 이벤트 전송 횟수가 100회로 전송이 제한이 된다고 되어 있는데, 그럼 만약에 그 유저 플레이의 그 성향에 따라서 이벤트가 100회 이상 초과됐을 때 그 나머지 이벤트도 전송이 되는 건지 아니면은 그게 무효가 되는 건지.
So he's asking if right now we have 100 events.
Yeah, so with 100 events per hour per user limit, basically what happens is that if the user hits over 100 events after that hour, then we don't get those events. But this is something that we can easily change on our side, and so most apps that we've seen don't hit this 100 events per hour limit. But if it's a problem that you're having, you just file a support ticket, and you can do that by going up to here, top right, and go to support. And then just write in the support ticket that you're hitting the 100 events per hour limit, and then we can raise that for you. And by submitting a support ticket, you also submit your project ID, and that's what we need to make an update on our side so that you'll get, you won't lose any events basically. And then longer term, we want to move away from that limit, but currently that's the soft limit, and then yeah, we'll have higher limits in the future.
애널리틱스와는 관계없고 이제 IAP에 관련해서 이제 질문을 하고 싶습니다. 우선은 이제 아까 테스트를 해야 된다고 말씀드렸는데요. 만일에 게임을 이제 전부 다 개설하고 테스트를 했는데 혹시나 처음부터 테스트를 해야 될 때는 게임에 어떻게 초기를 하면 좋을지, 또 이제 혹시나 IAP가 지금 이제 모바일이나 이제 이런 어플리케이션 마켓이 있는 구성에서만 가능하도록 했는데 혹시나 데스크톱이라든지 다른 웹 GR이라든지 그런 쪽에서 이용을 할 때는 또 어떻게 사용할 수가 있는지 이런 부분에 대해서도 지원할 계획이 있는 건지도 또 궁금합니다.
Yeah, so currently our focus has kind of been on supporting the mobile platforms because that's where we saw kind of the greatest need and that was where the biggest demand is. Like I said earlier, our goal with IAP is to support any platform that ideally Unity supports. So that includes things like Steam, Oculus, those are all platforms that people have requested a lot. They're not on our immediate roadmap, but if you go to our website, you can actually just go to feedback.unity3d.com. So here's the website, and then you can select, I think we have a section here for analytics. And then you can log in with your Unity account, and then you can vote for certain scores. And so we use this on the product side to kind of monitor what the feedback is from the community. And so if we see that there's a huge demand for like Oculus or some other VR store, that helps us prioritize it when we think about our roadmap going forward.
혹시나 이제 그 마켓이 자체 마켓이라고 한들 이것도 유니티 IAP를 통해서 이용이 가능한 부분인가요?
Could you elaborate more what you mean by that?
그러니까 제가 말씀드렸던 게 데스크톱이라든지 이제 모바일이 아닌 이제 다른 이제 비스토 지금 기존에 있는 스토어가 아닌 다른 이제 자체적인 스토어를 사용하게 될 경우에 이제 이것도 IAP를 통해서 이용을 할 수가 있는 것인지 또 싶습니다. 그게 이제 데스크톱이 되든 웹GL이 되든 그것도 외부의 이제 결제 솔루션을 통해서 결제가 가능한 것인지.
So I think the answer to that question would be to take a look at the API. So Unity IAP was designed to be extensible so that it could apply to multiple stores. On our side, it's not that we don't want to support all the stores that Unity builds to, it's just a matter of resources and time. But take a look at the API, and then it is open and extensible so that if there's a store, like a small store that we might have time to support or it's not on our immediate roadmap, you can take a look at the documentation and then so you can get IAP working for that specific store environment.
예, 알겠습니다.
Okay, thanks. Cool. All right. Thank you guys very much.